Hello and welcome to Africa Today, where we're going to shed the light on the African issue and the achievement of the Black continent. But first, let's start with this report where South Africa made masks mandatory in public from Tuesday after a surge in the coronavirus cases, as the World Health Organization warned that the pandemic, far more deadly than COVID-19, may lie ahead. Details in the following report.
Nations around the world are struggling with winter spikes in coronavirus infections that have pushed the global caseload close to 81 million, even as the rollout of vaccines gathers pace in North America and Europe. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa announced that face masks will be compulsory in public after his nation became the first in Africa to record 1 million cases. Ramaphosa said they have let down guard and unfortunately are now paying the price, blaming super spreader social events and an extreme lack of vigilance over the holiday period for the spike. Ramaphosa said data showed excessive alcohol consumption leads to an increase in trauma cases reported at hospitals, causing an unnecessary strain on public health facilities. The coronavirus has devastated lives and economies across the globe, but the WHO warned on Monday that worse pandemics could lie ahead. The coronavirus has devastated lives and economies across the globe, and the WHO is urging the world to get serious about preparedness.
And moving to Sudan, where Sudan will deploy large numbers of troops south of the Darfur state after the killing of 15 people in the tribal violence recently. More details in the following report.
Sudan is to send troop reinforcements to the south of its Darfur region after 15 people were killed in tribal clashes. The governor of South Darfur State, Musa Mahdi, announced the deployment of a large number of military forces in order to arrest those involved in the clashes and to collect the arms. The official Suna news agency quoted Mahdi as saying the era of reconciliation conferences is over and the era of implementing the law has started, referring to talks in recent months. A local official also cited by the agency said a dispute between the Masalit and Falata tribes in the Gerida area had led to armed clashes in which 2 members of the Falata were killed. The Falata mounted reprisal attacks that left 13 dead and 34 wounded among the Masalit. Gerida has been the frequent scene of deadly clashes between the rival tribes over the past 2 years, but this was the first since a reconciliation meeting held in October.
And to Algeria, where the Algerian Defense Ministry said the army has retrieved a slice of ransom cash paid out to free hostages held by the militants in the troubled Sahel region. Details.
A statement by the Algerian Defense Ministry issued late Monday said soldiers recovered the sum of 80,000 euros during an operation in Algeria's northeastern Jijil province. The Defense Ministry said the cash was an installment of the ransom paid out in a controversial October agreement, where neighboring Mali released some 200 prisoners, including militant leaders, to secure the release of 4 hostages, including French aid worker Sophie Petronin. Algeria condemned the deal, and Prime Minister Abdelaziz Jarrad said the payment of ransoms undermined counter-terrorism efforts. Algiers said it had subsequently arrested several militants who had fled across the porous desert border from Mali. Earlier this month, in the same Jijil province, 3 militants and an Algerian soldier were killed in clashes. Rumors of ransoms paid for the release of Western hostages in the Sahel region are common but rarely confirmed, and France has denied any involvement in negotiations for the release of the hostages. France has deployed over 5,000 troops across the arid Sahel region of Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Mauritania, and Niger. 3 French soldiers were killed on Monday in Mali when their armored vehicle struck an explosive device, taking the total deaths to 47 since Paris first intervened militarily in 2013.
Welcome back. And now we are here to discuss the African's continent achievement. Ambassador Gamel?
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Sir, how do you read the Africa's achievement in 2020 despite of the hardship that faced the Black continent?
In the last few years, we made a very big leap concerning the relations between Egypt and Africa. Of course, it started 4 years ago, and it took its utmost speed during the presidency of Egypt to the African Union, the chairmanship of our president. And we succeeded during that year, 2019, to enlarge the free trade area from the limited COMESA free trade area with 21 countries to the whole continent, 51 countries with a volume of inhabitants, 1.2 billion inhabitants. This is the largest free market we are attending. Of course, with the free market of the Arab League and the free market with the European Community. But with Africa, it's very important because we are part of Africa. We are talking in Africa about investment also, and our presence in Africa is becoming much more than any other country. Here we are calling for the big investors in Europe, in China, Japan, to invest in Africa with the Egyptian experience. And all of them agreed about that, and we are doing this now. That's why you will realize if you revise the figures of our trade in Africa, you'll find that it is increasing tremendously, and that it is there is a surplus in the trade balance for the favor of Egypt, and this is another good sign. But still we are optimistic. We need to double our efforts in order to make more and more exports, because it is one of the main targets of our economic reform, to double our exports everywhere, and Africa is a very good chance for us and for our foreign trade.
Mr. Ambassador, if we speak on the economic front, how do you see the performance of the African continent in comparison, of course, to other countries regarding the coronavirus circumstances?
As a matter of fact, thank God that although Africa is the poorest continent in the world, but the performance concerning the disease is much better. That's why you will realize that the economic impact of the disease is everywhere. The developed countries' growth rate will be minus, will be diminishing in everywhere except few countries. Among them, Egypt and another 7 countries in Africa will continue growing positively. And this is a good sign that we are on the right track. But of course, we are in need to double this effort in order to keep the standard of living better than we are, because Africa is not rich. Africa needs more and more investment and more trade. I think that we are performing quite well in Africa, especially in Egypt, concerning the disease.
Sir, Africa has been predicted to be one of the world's fastest growing economy. But in the wake of the coronavirus, how do you see this achievement is going forward?
We succeed during the last few years to attract all the developed countries and all our main partners in economy and trade in order to take care of the African case. And we are doing fine, whether in economy, whether in fighting the disease, whether in fighting the organized crime, whether it is illegal migration or drug trafficking or all those organized crime. We are doing fine. We are on the right track, and I think the whole world now thanks to the Egyptian efforts and its main partners in Africa, to make the whole world realize that we have to do much better in this continent, because it's not only a continent with a lot of problems, but it is a continent with a lot of chances also, if we take the burden of what we need in order to go to Africa and invest and trade.
Sir, how do you see the availability of the vaccine in the Black continent? Will it be easy, and will everybody will receive this vaccine?
The meeting of the G20, the richest 20 countries in the world, which took place a few weeks ago in Saudi Arabia, it gives good news there that they will make the burdens of debt burdens in Africa less and less, that they will allocate huge funds in order to make the medicines for the disease much available for the poor countries, where Africa, of course, can have this chance and to have all the remedies either gratis or with very low cost. So here we are going on the right track also.
Sir, of course, one of the most pressing issues for Europe is the illegal immigration of Africa to Europe. How do you read the declining numbers nowadays?
This is another story Egypt was leading while negotiating with the European countries, because of course the illegal migration is going almost to Europe, mainly to Europe. And we tried to convince them, in order to stop illegal migration, you have to make the living standard in the countries of those migrants much better. So if you create jobs and you make the life conditions better in all the African countries, then you will not be facing more and more migrants. And this is what we are doing. That's why also Egypt and some North Africa countries, which were the place from there they go to Europe, we are controlling the situation quite well. And I am glad that Europe appreciates very much what Egypt was doing. So, as you rightly said, the number of illegal migrants are diminishing day after another.
Sir, but regarding this matter, by the, of course, end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, do you believe that the numbers of the immigration, the illegal immigration, will one more time increase, or it will decline by time?
No, I think it will going to continue to diminish, because the situation is becoming much better, and with opening the markets, with opening the trade, with making the standard of living better in Africa, then less and less people will be attracted to leave their own countries.
Mm-hmm. And what the economic leaps should the African people expect from the signing of Africa's Continental Free Trade Agreement?
As a matter of fact, we have a lot of homework to be done in Africa. Of course, we are calling for free trade, we are calling for more and more investment, but we have to do our homework. We have to make transport in Africa much better, whether land traffic or maritime traffic or airway traffic. Our banking system must be much better than that. We are still having a lot of problems with the banking system. The bureaucracy in Africa is huge, and of course this needs education, needs training, in order to ameliorate this situation. Many things have to be done in Africa in order to make our situation much better than we are.
And sir, how do you weigh the African economic ties with China, the US and Europe throughout 2020?
China, since decades, is doing very good job in Africa, because they know the details. They go in the tiny, small and medium-sized industries and projects. So they are attracting more and more African countries to cooperate with China. And of course, China is we can say, one of us. It is, after all, a developing country, and they understand much better the situation in Africa. That's why really China is doing fine. But mind you that it's not the largest country trading or investing in Africa, because the old occupying countries are still dominating the main economies in Africa.
Sir, of course, one of the most important issues is the Grand Renaissance Dam. How do you see the development of the scheme and contracts on the project so far?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
One of the main important issues is the Grand Renaissance Dam. How far do you describe the development of the scheme and contracts on this project?
Are you talking about the Ethiopian dam?
Yeah, the Grand Renaissance Dam.
I am quite sure, because of economic realities and figures, that Egypt is doing fine by being very patient in order to deal with this matter. We can deal with it, and after all, the quantity of water in the Ethiopian country is much more than everybody needs. And Ethiopia is not using the river, the Blue Sea, the Blue Nile for its irrigation system. They depend totally on rains. So it seems that the political background of the problem is much more than the economic part of the problem. So it needs more and more negotiations, and as long as the dialogue is continuing, I think we shall one day reach a solution. Ethiopia does not need the river, the Blue River Nile water at all, and it's a matter of convincing them about the technical problems and to come forward concerning their political position, which is not good at the time being.
Mr. Ambassador, finally, how optimistic are you about the African economic situation with the beginning of the year 2021?
I think that we are doing fine. I think we should continue. I think it needs a lot of patience. It needs that all the leadership the leaders in Africa put this file in front of them, because Africa was ignored for some time and for some years. Now, if we continue knocking the door and going the same way, I think we are going to reach and to being in a much better situation than we have seen in the last 3 years.
Well, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, thank you very much for joining us today. And by this, we come to the end of Africa Today. I'm Dina Mamdouh. Thank you for watching.